Hello everyone. So I have updated the add-ons in both stores in Gumroad and Superhive, or formerly known as Blender Market. So go ahead and check your emails for the changelog links, and also go to the stores you bought it from and update from there. You just go to your product library and get the free update. Okay. So in this video, I'm going to recreate the shorts that I did, or YouTube, not shorts, YouTube short that I did where I used random flow and Greeble bake to create texture map details. So we're just going to use a plane and auto mirror this in the XY axis and bring in some random topology, because topology affects the randomization. So something like that. And random panels, square 100% even depth, and just increase the randomization, subdivision. Okay, so something like that. And then bring in another one. This time I'm going to reduce the panel mount and just increase the resulting depth and make a different panel seed, so it's not gonna be the same as the last one. Probably increase the cuts and also reduce the panel size to make smaller islands. So something like that. Let's get rid of the overlap by changing the depth value here. Okay. Next up is I think we could add the tubes, or the hello everyone. So the add-ons have been updated, so check your emails. All the new features have been uploaded to the store. Okay, next up is random tubes, and this one here. I always start with this preset here, just so I quickly see the pattern that it's producing, and then just reduce the offset. So we're going to not use mirror. So this is asymmetrical. So the last one that we did is symmetrical. It's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Open widget. Oh, okay. My stream status seems to be poor. Stream settings. Stream health. Okay. Let's continue. F9 and change the width. And then we're going to change the bevel offset, or the bevel width. Play around with the seed value. Probably increase this to 200. Okay, let's settle for this one. And then let's layer another detail using probably this mesh here. And just selecting the top using Control Alt Shift F using pre-select. If you don't have pre-select, you can just use you can select a face and Shift G, and then use coplanar, and then just play around with the threshold value to select the top faces. And I'm going to use floater mesh inner. So the subdivision is already, or the resolution is already high, so we're just going to reduce the panel size instead of increasing the um the cut value. Okay, another one for the other random panel result. Okay, so let's try this. And before we bake this, let's convert the. Actually, let's try, and it's going past the border, so I'm just going to scale this a bit like that and apply it. Apply the mesh, it becomes, the curve becomes a mesh. Okay, I'm going to save this file as this Greeble test one. Okay, now we can bake. We can bake. Let's go to Greeble bake and select all the concerned meshes for the baking. The bake origin will be the plane object. So the bake origin means the floor or the 0 point value of the displacement, and it's going to use the origin point of that object. So let's use the original mesh, which is the plane, and then bake to last images, check 1024. Let's try 2048 by 2048 and bake normal AO displacement. So with displacement, we can also use displacement as actually as textures, or to darken the texture, the base texture. Okay, so let's go ahead and bake. I'm just going to open a window here and then go to image and selecting all these meshes here to be baked. Just press bake size, offset, size of the plane object. Let's use 0.990 to create like a margin. 995.995. Okay, and bake. So we're just going to wait for the bake result. Unfortunately, you cannot program a progress bar with Python. You can only do that with the backend code of Blender. But in order to do that, you have to be a apply as a Blender developer. Go to the which country is that? Okay, so these texture maps are automatically packed into the blend file, so they don't disappear. So this is the AO and this is the normal. Let's just create a proxy cube to generate our texture. Apply the scale. Okay. Create new material. If you have node wrangler on, you can just press Control T to create this group nodes or set of nodes, and then don't do that. Don't open a texture. Use the drop down list here, and let's click our AO. So our AO, we're going to multiply to our base color. Since we didn't bake any diffuse, we're just going to use this A input node as the base color. And we're going to multiply the AO. We're going to change the HDRI. Okay. And then next up is the normal map. So color space should be non-color. And then go to vector and use the normal map node. Okay. And then our displacement, oops, displacement, and then you can plug it to the displacement of the material output, and then vector, select displacement and set it to height. So in order for this to work, we need a lot of subdivision, and you need to go to the material and go to the settings and change the surface to displacement only or displacement and bump. So in this case, we're not going to use displacement yet, so we're just going to set it to bump only, or probably disconnect it. So we're going to also multiply the bake displacement to the texture and control its intensity with a color ramp. So this is just the basic setup, and after this you can apply your additional textures like grunge textures, your own grunge textures. There you go. And after that we can of course adjust the scale. So with this method you can either adjust the scale of the texture or go to UV editor, or adjust the UV of the object itself. That can rotate. Okay. Now let's try and create our building. So you can use this as background assets. And for faraway buildings, you can just use the normal map. For closer buildings, if you want the details to pop out, you can use displacement. Um, the, the textures are stretched, but since this is angular, you can just unwrap it using cube projection. So we're still going to fix this after. This is just the preliminary stuff. Cube projection, and we can play around with the scale. There we go. So I think we can also use emit. We can play around with the textures, available textures to us. So I think we can use the AO, set this to 20, and control its strength using the ramp. Let's just try it. And we need to break this apart. We can use the built-in textures in Blender, or brick texture or checker texture. Let's try checker texture. Set the color to black and apply that to the B up input node. Not breaking up too well, but you get the idea. You can of course use other textures for the light if you want, but actually let's try and create our own mapping for this one. No, doesn't look good. It's possible. Yeah, I think we could work with that. And well, let's just add more geometry. Should manifold. Then let's project the texture again. And let's change the scaling. You can modify the scale and the location as well. So X and Y. I think Z is unaffected. There you go. So this can work as a background model. Okay, let's try it with displacement, but we need to quantify this. Quad slice, XYZ, all faces, and make sure that all the faces are even or evenly sized for the displacement to work much better. And then subdivision modifier. You can just press Control 1 or 2. Let's change the algorithm to simple because we only need the resolution and not the softening caused by the Katmal and Clark subdivision algorithm. Turn off optimal display so we can just go to wireframe view and see the resolution. So something like 6. So if you're going to render this, you need to match the viewport level to the render level. Okay. Uh, there we go. It's kind of slow at the start. So if you're using displacement, I suggest you only use it if you have a really powerful rig. If you have a potato PC, I would advise not to use displacement. Okay, change this to displacement only, and we should see the result of the displacement. Um, okay, mid-level is 0, and scale is 0.1. Whoa. There we go. Okay, so something like level 5. I guess level 8 was overkill. Okay, so you can see the details really pop out versus just using the normal map. So this is the normal map. So with the normal map, you use it on objects that's far away, and For closer objects, if you want the details to pop out, you can use displacement. But you need to, of course, find the optimal resolution to not waste the or add any unnecessary processing footprint on your machine. So I guess it looks really good, especially when catching the shadows of the light. So do you remember Displacement? And that's a really powerful soft tool as well to create displacement texture. But I couldn't quite get this kind of look because, of course, we have the pipes and the other protruding stuff that the brain could interpret as something like air conditioners or like other stuff you can see in cyberpunk movies. Mm, yeah, especially here. You can see here. It looks believable. So the bake also managed to get the detail of the uh, inset preset in the random panels. So that's good. So after this, you can just build like basic shapes of buildings and then apply this material. So build something like really simple buildings, like 20 or 50, and then use this material. Then you can just switch the displacement on and off depending on where the building is in relative to its distance to the camera. And the good thing about this is that you can just change the position of the details to create other look. You can select an object, then duplicate that material using this paper icon here, the new material. Then you can change and modify its settings without affecting the other ones. So if you want a unique look for that particular mesh, you duplicate the material. Be sure to rename it so you don't get confused in the long run. And then, yeah. So for example, if I were to duplicate this, and here I duplicate the material, it becomes material 001. And I change this, the scale of this. So this one is unaffected and this one is changed. And let's just probably use something like 0.4 in the, there we go. So they look much different, even though they basically have the same geometry. Then you can just go ahead and change this one. Let's try and create another detail here. Extrude manifold. Oops. So there's a limit to that power. Okay. U field projection. Okay. So there you have it. Baking layers of details or meshes or randomized meshes using random flow on a plane and baking that with Greeble bake and then using the textures as texture details. So the displacement map serve two purposes here for the displacement and for the texture as well. So this is the base material, and after this you can just connect your other stuff here to if you want to create a grungy look on your grungy look or dirty look on your model, you can add more stuff here. So it's kind of like Photoshop where you create layers and create layer blending modes. It's the same principle. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream here. Again, the add-ons have been updated. So just log into the store and get your free updates there. Okay, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.